G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Drooks Milan Unboxing. Before we start, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. It will help me a lot to keep getting the content out there. And today we're going to be talking about the Canelo show, which is happening again Saturday night at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. I say the Canelo show because the boxing world almost revolves around the Mexican superstar. And on Saturday night, I think we have an interesting fight in front of us. Interesting because, number one, I like unifications. We all dream about one champion in each weight division, and that's what we will have for the super middleweight division on Saturday night. I think the guy that came closest was Joe Calzaghe. At one point, he unified his WBO title with the IBF belt of Jeff Lacey, and then he added the WBA and WBC belts when he beat Mikhail Kessler. But by then he was stripped of the IBF title. He had to give it up because of boxing politics. But we're going to have 4 belts plus the Ring Magazine title of Canelo Alvarez on the line. Alvarez started as a super middleweight by he tipped his toe in against Rocky Fielding, won easily, and then he took the Ring and WBA belt plus a vacant WBC title was on the line from a much taller, much bigger and a hard punching Callum Smith, and he completely outboxed Smith over 12 rounds, and he had no trouble with a bigger man at all. Smith couldn't do anything with him. And most recently, he also took the WBO belt from the very awkward Billy Joe Saunders, who he made retire in his corner with a broken orbital bone, I believe. Now, has Caleb Plant got any chance? You know, he does have a chance, but it's a small outside chance because he's 21-0 with 12 knockouts. He won the IBF super middleweight title by beating Jose Uzcategui from Venezuela on points. He knocked him down twice. And he made 3 title defenses against the likes of Mike Lee, Vincent Feigenbutz, and the last one was a former IBF belt holder, the guy who upset James de Gale that night in England, Caleb Truax. And he won every round against Truax. He pitched a shutout. But now he's got a different kettle of fish in front of him in Canelo Alvarez, because Alvarez at the age of 31 seems to have hit his prime. He's boxing better than ever, and he's really in top form. Nobody seems to be able to touch him. You can do certain things against Alvarez. He's not perfect. You know, Floyd Mayweather beat him, and then Gennady Golovkin, a lot of people thought he beat him in the first fight. It was a draw. But since then, you know, only guy that's really threatened to win was Triple G. And since he's moved up to super middleweight, I think that's the right weight for him now. Guys can win rounds. He's not always the quickest guy. You can outbox him for a bit if you move well, you know, to use your jab, like Triple G did. And, you know, Sergey Kovalev at light heavyweight, he won rounds against Canelo Alvarez, as did Daniel Jacobs at the lower weight. So you can win rounds against Canelo, but can you beat him is a whole different story, because he's a terrific body puncher. He's not a twinkle toes, but he does have good footwork, and he does make that ring very small after a few rounds, and he really can swat. He's got a punch on him, and if he hits you once too often, he's going to eventually take you out. Now, on top of that, he's also got a terrific chin. Gennady Golovkin's got hard hands on him. He couldn't move Canelo Alvarez. Neither could Sergey Kovalev. So, quite frankly, how is Caleb Plant going to get the respect of Canelo? How is he? There's no way I can see Caleb Plant winning this fight by an upset knockout or a stoppage. I just can't see that happening. Caleb Plant, for his part, he does have a height and reach advantage. But as we saw against Callum Smith, who is a bigger guy than Caleb Plant, that doesn't really mean much against Canelo. If you really, you know, he overcomes that quite easily. He was out jabbing Smith even. So Caleb Plant has got the speed advantage. He's got a very nice quick jab. He kept Caleb Truax at the end of it for 12 rounds to pitch a shutout. He had Jose Uzcategui down twice in his title winning effort. I don't think he's got very good finishing skills, to be frank. They couldn't get Uzcategui out of there. And Caleb Truax, he's a rugged overachiever, but he's a guy in the past who people like Daniel Jacobs and Anthony Durrell was able to stop. And Plant couldn't do that. So I don't think he can overpower Canelo. So that leaves him with using his speed. I think his nickname is Sweet Hands. He's got quite good hand speed. He might be just a little quicker than Canelo in that aspect. He's got to use his jab. He's got to give angles. He's got to box and move, and try and outbox Canelo Alvarez. I think he might have a little bit of success with it. He might win a few rounds like Billy Joe Saunders and Sergey Kovalev did. But Canelo creeps closer as the rounds go by. And what I've noticed with Caleb Plant, even against Uskadegi, which was kind of rough around the edges and basic in many ways, had Plant covering up and sort of not knowing what he wanted to do. Because of the two knockdowns, he won that fight quite easily. But Uskadegi rocked him there a couple of times. And when Plant exchanges with you, sometimes he leaves himself open and he gets countered with left hooks and right hands. His chin has held up so far, but is it going to hold up against Canelo Alvarez? That's my question. So for Plant, he has to box an absolutely perfect fight. He's got to stay on the ropes. He's got to stay away from the inside. But I don't think he can do that for 12 rounds. Nobody has been able to stay away from Canelo Alvarez for 12 rounds. Either he gets in the range and he eventually stops him, or he starts taking over and then he wins a fight on points. So I struggle to see how Caleb Plant is going to win this. But I think he's going to make the most of his biggest payday yet, his moment of fame. And I think he will manage to win a round or two, much like Billy Joe Saunders did, but he's not as shifty as Saunders. He doesn't have that same awkwardness. If people have trouble, Canelo Alvarez are quick stylists, awkward guys like Erislandy Lara. And Plant may have some of that quickness, but he doesn't have awkwardness, and I don't think he has quite the ring savvy of Lara. And most importantly, this is a different Canelo Alvarez. So for me, there can only be one winner, and I think Canelo Alvarez will eventually get Caleb Plant where he doesn't want to be, in the corners, on the ropes. And once he is there, he's going to dig those blows to the body. And I think he will overwhelm and stop Caleb Plant. A referee will intervene at some stage. And I've got to go with Canelo here to get the stoppage somewhere around round 8 or round 9. That's about what it feels like to me. But I think Canelo Alvarez is going to get Caleb Plant out of there for another impressive performance and to become the man at super middleweight with all 4 of the sanctioning body belts as well as his Ring Magazine belt. So that's my opinion on the fight. Please let me know in the comment section what you think. But I'm looking forward to seeing the big operator from Mexico, Saul Canelo Alvarez, do his thing again. And I'm interested to see what Caleb Plant can offer. So until we see each other again, please remember to like and subscribe, and remember to keep those hands up.